I'm WG, and Kerosene Nightmare just dropped the 9 character PV trailer, but due to us already knowing her class and her element, the way we'll be doing this is I'll be giving you everything I can think of, everything you could prepare in advance for the start of Season 2, so you can have the optimist start with 9, and then at the end of the video, if that's something you'll be looking forward to, you'll be seeing my first live reaction to the 9 character PV that I haven't seen yet. So, on with the video. So let's get the most obvious out of the way, which is the promotion materials for 9, the partner, the level up materials, and then obviously the potential materials as well. In total it's going to run you 2.48 million credits. You can see in 52.47.8 yada yada. I won't bore you with this. Important to note here though, this does not contain the calculations for the basic attack talent, which is the basic attack potential. And it's also, as always, something I do not recommend for you to level, and there is like a 5% chance 9 actually has a useful one that is worth the extra 28 resources and 2 more feathers. So this is basically what you're looking for. And also, once again, if this looks daunting, keep in mind we're about to get a massive influx in resources. I'd assume millions of units. Skill up materials with events that are related to the potential materials, right, with events that are related to 9, obviously level up materials, and then also more importantly even the promotion materials. So you can probably cut whatever you're seeing down here by an additional, I'd say at minimum 30%, just based on the fact that we're going to get a whole bunch of new events and stuff from the season. But feel free to take a screenshot and use this as your reference. You could also fully prepare and I guess use the rest of the resources on somebody like Amir. So on the note of Amir, let's use Amir as our template to talk about what else could you prepare on top, what else could you have ready. So we have ourselves something that for no particular reason I feel like level 10 on Affinity might be a little important for some of you, so make sure you have enough to send some presents. Yes, we're getting some cakes over the next few days sent as well, so that puts it down, but especially if you're looking for some additional cakes and additional resources in that department, No Shop is a decent place to find them. You can buy these sweet choconillas, these exquisite slices of cake. Keep in mind there will also be another weekly reset you can once again make use of. And also, we're getting close to the end of the month, so maybe also be a bit more sparingly with your blue tokens so that you can buy the next multi-dimensional alignment material when it comes to that. On the note of multi-alignment dimensional material, that also brings us to potential, not potential, but potential good memory fragments. So these memory fragments, there is, I'd say, 2 dungeons that are decently safe to farm, but to a degree, only one that is like the premier choice. So, out of all of these ones right here, obviously, here this is how you pre-farm, but memory fragment wise, the only one I would really farm as of this moment is Executioner's Toolset. Because regardless of how her kit spins out, regardless of how powerful her 4-piece is, the Executioner's Toolset will always work on her. Because even if the 4 set is her best in slot, it's going to be 4-piece that set, 2-piece Executioner's Toolset. So, farming Executioner's Toolset is going to be an absolute boon. And if you didn't notice it yet or forgot about it, this set is about to get a massive buff. It's going to go from when an upgrade card is used, increase damage of the next 5 passion cards, to when an upgrade card is used permanently for the whole duration of the battle, increase passion card damage by 20%. So the Spark of Passion set now is a top tier contender, making, the Corpses and Tool dungeons one of the best dungeons in the entire game, period. So then you go in and you're obviously going to get unwanted pieces. Now, what are you going to do with these unwanted pieces? You're going to save them. The reason why I'm going to say you should save them, and the reason why I currently don't have any save because I did the gearing video where we spend a bunch of them. But if you save these, if you destroy some other pieces that are unwanted from the passion set, from the crit damage set, and you save those, then the moment Season 2 drops, the moment the new set drops, you can then already start random crafting these pieces. And trust me, if seeing as how it's a 4 set, you're going to want a lot of pieces and it's going to take a while to get there. So that is why you should definitely hold on to this currency, and obviously if you have any of the dedicated crafting materials, you should also hold on to them. But when it then comes to, okay, what do you craft with this material, I would definitely recommend crafting a necklace with the crit chance main stat, and that is because this is by far the easiest piece in the game to get to a usable state, because what you really only care about is the crit chance main stat, and then if you can get it, if you could get defense percent, defense flat in the subset, that would be great, though the main target would be crit damage percent. So you only need crit percent at the top stat and 1 crit damage roll as the substat, and you're already good to go, and you're 1 for 4 on making the 4 set work. So that's it in terms of like the obvious sets. But if for whatever reason you have too much stamina to spare, you have you don't know what to do with your daily stamina, your crit damage set, whatever is already too good, then you can definitely still farm the defensive 2-piece. It's going to go a long way. But if I had to make a choice between defensive 2-piece and crit damage 2-piece, I'd pick the crit damage one every single day of the week. So that is pretty much everything you can prepare in terms of straight up resources from the get-go. Now, what kind of teammates can we infer are going to be good with her? Which characters would be worth building, having ready to play around with her? So, primetime candidate is obviously Naja. We have it confirmed by the devs. They mention it in the patch notes as well, that 9 was also made with Naja in mind as a character. So expect some high level synergies, some beautiful gameplay. So if you haven't yet, you can invest into your Naja or even potentially try to summon yourself one. But keep in mind, if you wanna play 9, you gotta summon 9 as well. So yeah, that is obviously Naja, right? It's the easy one, it's the goal getter, it just makes sense. So then let's go with somebody who is a bit more off meta, and that is Shizuru. Shizuru is about to get even more of a buff. Shizuru was already pretty darn good, but across the board, pretty much all of her cards are going to become better, and they're also going to revert or improve some changes to the Bound at Dusk card, allowing Shizuru now to gain AP related effects from her own cards. We again will have to say the full extent and which cards become stronger and to what degree, but pretty much across the board Shizuru is going to become a lot stronger, and there was already sufficient synergy between Shizuru and Naja due to Naja being focused on cost reduction, and cost reduction itself not interfering with Bound at Dusk at all regardless. So a team like Naja, Shizuru, 9 is something I can definitely see happen. On the other hand, while Rin is getting buffed, I kind of feel like they would be vying too much for the same kind of space in a team. Like the easiest ones, right, are definitely going to be either defensive or supportive type units. So for example, Khalib, especially, she'll probably have a 2 cost card. Naja, if not, can supply those cost cards, or Khalib herself. Veronica is always a no-brainer to build just due to the sheer amount of card draw she can provide. Then other units, especially if you do not have a Naja, I can see Ray definitely coming in quite clutch due to having the ability to boost the damage of cards of 1 cost or even 1 cost or less. What we know about 9 is the fact that she's going to summon exhaust-based attack cards due to the new set being introduced that uses exhaust-based attack cards. I don't think it's going to be a set just for Luke. It's pretty safe to assume that that set is going to be working for her as well, meaning that having a character to give you plus 80% damage for every single hit, or even a character to permanently boost the damage of these hits with, let's say, Resonating Darkness, always goes a long way. And then especially when it comes to spamming, one of those engines, especially with Cassie's getting hit a lot harder now, one of those engines that still has been untouched and is going to go quite nuclear is still Nia. Nia's idea of using Adagio to just move a card into your discard pile, especially with the Adagio that creates an additional Adagio, allowing you to pretty much do that whole thing twice. Adagio is going to be quite useful in terms of discarding cards. The whole kit is really useful in terms of discarding cards. But then what are you building up to? You're building up all these discards so that you can make use of the Levy 30 exploration reward of the of the dimensional cube, which is an item that, as far as we can tell as of this moment, seems entirely untouched, giving you plus 10% damage for one turn of the wielder. So if you give this to 9, 9 is going to get plus 10% damage amount per card discarded. So if Nia discards 10 cards, all of her cards get plus 100% damage regardless of damage typing. So that is another one of these synergies that just seem to be straight up just out there. And then other characters that are getting like a bit more of a buff, we still don't know the full extent, but those have to be Haru, who's now going to hit harder and generally have an easier time making a big impact. Magna, who might be one of the biggest beneficiaries of these entire changes due to the fact that her counters will now become stronger. Her being heavily counter focused should be able to do a lot with it, and she's also getting a increased shield amount here and increased damage rate on this card here as well, making her a lot more viable. Whereas Orlea, depending on if we have retained synergy, might be a bit more of like a gamble pick due to her Will of Light becoming cheaper and overall her options, like for example every one of her creations just becoming stronger. So I do believe those are kind of like the most obvious picks, the most obvious ones to build with like the highest return of investment. Obviously Beryl is always a golden pick. Mika can go a long way, especially if you don't have a Naja on hand. And yeah, if you have any other team combinations, any other crazy ideas, do let me know down in the comments below. And I'd say it's time for me to watch the trailer and let's see what we can learn. Alright, yeah, so I'm pretty excited for this 9 character PV Chaos Zero Nightmare. We have 1 minute and 10 seconds of hopeful peak.
弱い者はいつか狩られる。この世界で変わることのない絶対の法則だ。物はこれがお前らの選択か。金額以上の仕事をする気はない。物はどこだ。
Brother is sweating.
モンスターか。
That is kind of sick, just putting down the sunglasses, the shades.
任務完了。どうだ、結果に満足か。力加減は苦手なんだ。
Faction Wanderer. She's of the same faction as Kairon and Rin, coming kind of like from this Outworlder place. At least that seems to be the idea here. And oh my, look at this. It's this gore on her sword. Ay, 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 ay. She's gonna drain funds like crazy. Okay, I thought maybe they were gonna reveal like the breakdown images or the like, but that doesn't quite seem to be the case. So I hope you enjoyed this one, and as always, we see each other in the next one. Peace!